Warning, incoming game over. Warning, incoming game over.
Hi, are you surprised to see me before the timer started? Well, I was ready, so I'm just gonna start, okay? That's really loud. We're peaking. Oh my gosh. Maybe I just should leave the microphone on the table. Hi there, and welcome to Game Over Winnipeg. My name is Brendan Labarre, and thank you for joining me this evening. The Winnipeg Jets lost to the Philadelphia Flyers by a score of 2-1 in the shootout. Got the loser point. Make sure you're like Terry. Terry's a cool guy, and join the chat. He's down here talking away, joining the conversation, and you can as well. So Terry comes in and says, "Don't look now, but the Jets are on a losing streak." Yep, 2 games is in fact a losing streak. Even before those two losses, the team, or the Jets, the team, can't speak. The team, as in the Jets, were lucky to beat the Sens, Sharks, Blues. I definitely agree on Sharks, Blues. The Sens didn't play good. I didn't see the Sens game because I've been sick for a bit. Still taking some meds, so things are very dry in the sinuses. But I do some meds. But yeah, I definitely agree on the Sharks. The Jets' goal scoring has definitely lost its spark. And then like I didn't see the Sens game, but the Blues again. You're only scoring two goals. Was it 2 goals in regulation? And then beat them in the shootout. And you're just not going to win hockey games that way. Not scoring, you got to score at least 3 goals, in my opinion, to win the hockey game. Kind of lucky their goaltending's so good in order to win these games. And yeah, totally agree with you, Terry. So let's start this game. We're gonna start with a highlight and low light. I think we should start with the low light because the low light I think is pretty obvious. The Jets' goal scoring, it's gone. They're like 0 for 18 on the power play in their last 18 attempts. And yeah, it's their spark. It's gone. They gotta change some things up. I think it's the deadline, and I've been saying this to people who've been asking me. The Winnipeg Jets need to fix their offensive troubles at the deadline, and I think just finding ways to generate offense because they had it for a bit. Now they don't. They were relying on their power play a lot. That's right up as well. You think of games like back against the Kings where they were able to just get one power play opportunity, score to tie it up, and win the game 2-1. But those opportunities aren't there anymore. The power play is a little bit dried up, and the 5-on-5 just hasn't rebounded the same way you'd like it to. So for the low light, I'm going to say the offense. For the highlight of the game, I'm going to go with, I think Connor Hellebuck's a pretty easy one. Made all the saves except for the one on Drysdale when Velarde kind of let him walk in there. And in the shootout, I mean, that was a pretty sweet move by Mitchkov. Nothing like, what do you want from the guy? You scored 1 goal in support for him. He's feeling like Eric Comrie these days, unfortunately. In addition to that, I thought Kyle Connor was kind of electric tonight. I think he was kind of a highlight. Maybe not in the goal scoring department, but definitely fun to watch. He generated that first goal, just kind of threw it up to the net where Velarde was able to do that tic-tac with his stick, just able to get it over to Mark Scheifele for the goal. I think Kyle Connor was a highlight of the game, just extremely fun to watch. Almost ended the game in overtime when he put the move between his legs and got it over to Mark Scheifele. All right. So let's get into our first ad read. So shift into hyperdrive and get ready to have some fun with your new source for all the biggest stories in hockey, bringing a unique style of broadcasting and commentary with a Quebecois flavor. Hyperdrive Hockey combines top-tier hockey analysis, big stories, pop culture, in a damn fun atmosphere that will drive debate, make you think, and more. Join Max, Daphne, and Kevin every Tuesday and Thursday for your fill in on the hockey world. Watch on YouTube and on the Game Over Network, or subscribe to the podcast on Apple, Spotify, or Amazon. Head to our website at thegameovernetwork.com for more. For all wrestling fans, it looks like John Cena is winning Elimination Chamber. Sick, but no one sees him, you know. Come on, Terry. So yeah, we're going to do our kind of normal thing. We're going to just kind of run through the game, how it kind of went. Second period, we're going to talk about some overall themes of the season. Third period, I have some like trade deadline-ish topics. Maybe we'll talk about the Seth Jones trade that went down. And we'll just kind of see where this night takes us. So for the game, the game for the Jets really started on the back foot for themselves. They let on 2 like stretch passes, just kind of beat them wide. The one where Tippett beat Pionk, the one where Kuzmenko was able to beat DeMello. Luckily, they were kind of get back. The goalies made the saves. Some sticks came in to kind of deflect the puck, but that was that. And then along with that, I really enjoyed all the little physical moments from tonight's game, especially since the Jets are playing the Flyers on Thursday night this upcoming week. So we're going to highlight some of those. So some storylines to look out for. Number 1, Travis Sanheim and Adam Lowry kind of going at each other for a bit in the first period, just right off the draw there. And then the Scheifele goal we covered in the kind of highlight segment where I thought Kyle Connor was a big highlight of this game. Kyle Connor just kind of driving around the net, throws it into the middle, throws it into where goals are scored, and then Vilardi's able to kind of tap it back to himself, tap it over to Scheifele, and it's in the net. And then one thing that I want to point out here is the Winnipeg Jets are struggling with their offense, and I don't know if the scouting report was really helping them. Because when Nikolai Ehlers goes on a breakaway, he pulls off the same move that he did against Saros when he had a breakaway on Thursday night. And that move was he just kind of shot 5-hole. And if you look back at and both times were unsuccessful, but if you look at the shootout attempts, that's kind of what the Jets, I think, were told to kind of go for whenever they had a clean break. And I don't think it really worked, as both Connor and Scheifele also went for the 5-hole. Then we had some breakaways, Kyle Connor on the PK. I forget who it was on the power play. And then Logan Stanley, he looked around and he said to the whole crowd, he said, I'm going to give him something to see. And then what he does is he goes to center ice with Nick Delorier, just huge, just like it was in a movie, and they both drop the gloves. And Logan Stanley, he wins the fight. I thought he was going to lose because it just seems like he's like a skinny tree guy, not big tough guy. And he just kind of holds his arm out so that Laurier can't punch him, he can't reach him, and then he kind of throws a couple of almost like Hail Mary punches to just try to win the fight, and he does. And then on the Drysdale goal really reminded me of that time in the season where Mark Scheifele was kind of injured and he wasn't taking faceoffs. Vilardi was taking all the faceoffs. And the reason I say that is because on this play, there's a time where Mark Scheifele and Gabriel Vilardi are supposed to switch places, and they just simply don't because they were both covering guys up high. Mark Scheifele seemed to tag off and was going to take the other guy, and then Vilardi just doesn't take the new guy in Drysdale. Drysdale is able to just walk around Gabriel Vilardi, and then he is able to shoot the puck and just like kind of walk down Main Street, get a perfect shot off. My cousin actually bet on him to win today, or to score today. Kind of a long shot, but it worked. All right, and then what else? Oh, Perfetti had a sick move. Hellebuck made a big save on a breakaway. Thank God Helly was in the net tonight. And then another big save, the Kuzmenko to Brink save. Like, where are they going to help? When are they going to help Connor Hellebuck? And then the third period was kind of just a classic John Tortorella game. Not sure if any of y'all out there know this, but every hockey game starts 0-0. And because of the NHL's stupid point system, it's so beneficial to just keep it 0-0. Very low event. The Winnipeg Jets kind of are in this slug fight for kind of a bit. And then they get 2 power play opportunities. Don't go anywhere. Offense is all dried up. And then we go to the overtime. The overtime is pretty fun, though. With Adam Lowry starting with Nikolai Ehlers. I really want to see that combination at 5-on-5. Maybe that could unlock some offense from both players. But Ehlers is just doing some really smart plays out there. I really loved when he was tired and needed to go for a change, and he rims it all the way around to Connor Hellebuck to kind of keep the puck in the Jets' hands. Thought that was just a super smart play from the Nikolai Ehlers. And then what else do we have? We had Kyle Connor dancing. Once again, I think Kyle Connor had a pretty great game tonight, and he was able to just send it over to Mark Scheifele almost end of the game there. And then, yeah, just no goals were scored. And then as we kind of went to the shootouts, again, I just think the Winnipeg Jets scouting staff, they told them to shoot 5-hole on Fedotov. Didn't really work out for them in the end. And then with that, just Mitchkov was able to score that goal, and things went well for the Philadelphia Flyers as opposed to the Winnipeg Jets. So yeah, that was just kind of the game. It's kind of frustrating as a fan to just kind of watch them not be able to score, maybe not put the best effort. It wasn't the best effort. I think like they tried their best, I guess, but just like not their best game. And I think I agree with Terry where it's like they're just not finding those ways to score, and they've had some lucky breaks, especially with their goaltending, but the finishing is just not there. What happened to the Jets PP of late? It's completely disappeared. I kind of agree, Terry. I think that with the power play, it just kind of looks stale to me. I think when it was going kind of well, it was because people were moving around And I think you and I talked about this last on Thursday, but it just seems like they're all stuck in their own spaces. They're we're doing it again. We're grabbing the whiteboard. I just feel like when it comes to the Jets power play, like if we have our zone, maybe I should just have a zone on here. It just feels like I'm gonna use Kyle Connor as the example. It's not fair to him. This is not dark enough. We're gonna need red. It just feels like Kyle Connor feels like, and I'm using his example 81. It feels like he thinks his zone is here, and this is all he can go. He can stay in this little bean, and that's it. 81. It just feels like they're not moving around. They're not creating chaos and creating lanes by shifting around. Kyle Connor isn't going down low. Kyle Connor isn't taking that slot and moving to the slot at all. They're not exchanging places. They're not creating that chaos, and therefore they're predictable. And I think that's something that when they were moving around. They're moving the puck around quick, creating chaos, creating lanes, and that's just something that's really dried up. And it's unfortunate to see because personally, I think the Winnipeg Jets, they don't have like the top end talent that other teams do, despite like having a guy like Kyle Connor being top 5 in points. But I just think, but if their group of 5 can play like that and have that like positionless power play, it seems like they really took some notes from Edmonton in that regard, where you are that positionless power play, and they've kind of gone away from that, kind of going back to the trends of last year. Yeah, could you say yesteryear for that? Is that a proper use of that term? Anyways, we're going to cover the power play in the next segment, so let's get into that. And if you're looking for ways to help an upstart media company employing over 30 young journalists and analysts across Canada, if you have a few bucks kicking around, you can head over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/the Game Over Network. There you'll find multiple tiers featuring different rewards and goodies for helping us grow. Tons of perks over there. And if you want to support Game Over Winnipeg, there's a really simple and free way to do so. Just click like and subscribe here on the channel. Super easy and free way to support us. Type away in the chat. Really helps just expand our growth, helps other people find the podcast here as well. All right, period 2. So with the Winnipeg Jets, ongoing trends with them, the offense is simply dried up, and it really feels like at times when this team kind of struggles, and they haven't struggled a lot this season, but it's like that kind of, what's that line? It's like we've tried nothing and we're out of ideas, because just the first game of the season, this was the lineup. The 61st game of the season, this was the lineup. And if there was a gun to the earth and it was like, okay, if the Winnipeg Jets change their lineup, we're gonna blow it up. Earth is completely safe, because they just feel it. It's just so static. It's not dynamic. And it's kind of gone stale. And I think that, and you can see these guys are almost too comfortable with each other. They're making that extra pass. There was one where, and I think like Vladimir Nemestikov is kind of one of the players who really exemplifies this, where there's times where he can shoot, he can let the puck go, he can rip it, and he just chooses not to. He tries to make the extra pass, and it worked for that Perfetti chance where Perfetti almost scored, but there's almost so many times where these guys the play kind of dies on their stick because they're making that extra pass. I think the third line as well, Mason Appleton had a few of those tonight, where they're almost too used to each other, where they think they can make these plays even when they're not there. Okay, and then we have to talk about someone else. We have to talk about a big guy, because we can't criticize this player and then go back at other times and say he is not great. And that player is Logan Stanley. I think Logan Stanley kind of had an outstanding game today. I think he had that one big blip in the third period with about 10 minutes left, where he tried to force a pass. He got caught at the red line, and then it led to a 2-on-1. That happens to plenty of players around the league. I'm not going to blame him for that happening to him once. But what I liked from him tonight, just little extra moves before he made a pass, opening up the lane for himself. And sometimes I feel like we have to cheer for these things, even though it feels like we're applauding a fish for swimming. But like what a bottom pair defenseman kind of does is he was out there, he was making nice clean passes, wasn't playing too like dynamically. He was just kind of making the plays, dumping it when he should. He had some really nice plays. There was one in the first period. We had this nice backhand saucer to kind of like the other points, and it generated a nice uncontested shot. The fight, I'm not a big fight guy in hockey, but I thought he was, I thought it was electric. I'm not gonna lie. And then he had some nice shots today, and yeah, just some nice saucer passes. And one thing I really love too from Logan Stanley is a big part of his role on this team is to be the tough guy. And one thing that was really nice in that regard is that when Owen Tippett crashed into like the net into Connor Hellebuyck, the first person there to get between Owen Tippett and Connor Hellebuyck was Logan Stanley. And if you're gonna play that role, that's kind of what you have to do as the kind of enforcer guy on the team. And I think Logan Stanley, if you had to like grade Logan Stanley on Logan Stanley things, like he B plus, like it was a great game from the guy. It'd be an A or an A plus if he didn't make that one grand mistake, but that's gonna happen. I'd still give that a pretty great grade in B plus. But yeah, really, really good things out of Logan Stanley tonight, I believe. I still don't think he's like a playoff player, but I just think we should give him his flowers when he deserves them. And then with that, let's go into kind of what I thought Philadelphia did to really kind of stumble the Jets, or what I thought they did really well and what I think the Jets can take away from it. One thing I think the Philadelphia Flyers did is they cheated. They were all over the ice. They were pushing guys down. After the first period, Mark Scheifele was barking at the ref because it was like there was a time where Kyle Connor's all alone, and him and Mark Scheifele and SGA Sports Talk channel. How's it going? There's this time where Mark Scheifele and Gabriel Villar just get pushed to the ground, and they get up and they start just talking smack, and that's not something you want. You want to happen. You just want them to go out there and do the same thing, because when it comes to the playoffs, they're not going to take the guy who throws the first punch. They're always going to take the guy who throws the second punch. It's the thing where it's like it's always the retaliatory player who gets the penalty, and it's those things where this is that kind of resiliency that I thought they kind of built earlier in the season when they were playing teams like Tampa and Colorado all in the same week, and those teams know how to cheat. And Philadelphia, they got away with a lot of cheating tonight. Extra hits, extra plays, extra, not too much stick things, just like using their body to really disrupt the Jets. And that's something the Winnipeg Jets were just not able to do tonight at the same level. And it was kind of made a difference. It created a lot of room for the Flyers, and they were just able to skate more freely because of just blatant cheating, which is what you need to do if you want to play at this level, because the referees in this league aren't going to help you. And I think that's fair to say. All right. What were my 5 takeaways from the Winnipeg Jets 2-1 loss against the Philadelphia? Okay, let's try to do this. 5 takeaways. 1, they can't score. They need help scoring. 2, the power play is gone. They need to really fix that. Those are almost the same thing, but I'm going to use them against 5 takeaways. 3, number 3, Logan Stanley. Great game. Number 4. This is fun. Off the top of my head. Number 4. Nikolai Ehlers is just so smart. You watch him play, and he kind of sees the game so differently. You look at that overtime when he's out there, and there's a few minutes left, and he's trying to make something happen, or he needs a change. He does a whole rim, and then when other players need to make a change, they kind of go in and skate themselves into trouble. And I just think he's so smart. And my 5th takeaway, the Winnipeg Jets are looking at players like Jake Evans, Joel Armia, it's been reported, and they think they can get better by getting like bottom 6-ish guys. But what they need to do is get like a top 6-ish guy to just push people down into their bottom 6 and just to create more offense out of this lineup. Who are my 3 stars of the game for the Winnipeg Jets? Connor Hellebuyck, Kyle Connor. I don't know if I have a third one. I'll go with Mark Scheifele. He scored the goal. All right, and with that, let's go into the third period. In the third period, we're going to talk some trade deadline stuff. So, if you're enjoying the show so far, you probably want more of this. right? Well, make sure you hit the like button on this video, click subscribe on our channel, and make sure you check the notification bell so you're alerted when we go live. If you're listening to our podcast, please give us a 5-star rating or even write a positive review. If you really like us, go follow us on your favorite social media platforms. You can find the Game Over Network on Blue Sky, thegameovernetwork.com, on TikTok, on Twitter at Game Over NHL, and then Instagram, Threads, LinkedIn. We have an ad for LinkedIn at the Game Over Network. And then, yeah, just like easily, like go click down, like and subscribe. Again, easiest way to support the channel, easiest way to help us grow, and easiest way to get more of this. So yeah, let's go into the third period. Let's talk some trade deadline stuff. How you doing, SGA Sports Talk channel? What a mouthful. Yeah, hope you're having a great night. Did the Sharks play today? I don't know if they played today. Hopefully they did well for you with whatever you want them to do at this time of year. What was I gonna talk about? Oh, this was funny. Did anyone else see? I think they were showing this in the broadcast. One of the players that the Jets have been linked to recently is Scott Lawton. I think it was Frank Saravalli who had this call, and I just thought it was cute. I never remember. There. It's mirrored for me. So this was Scott Lawton's tweets. It was almost like a Last Supper. I wonder if I can. Yeah, I can definitely make this bigger for y'all. Look at that. That is hilarious. It's him and his teammates, and they are just kind of mirroring the famous picture there, and just so funny, as if they thought he was gonna be traded on the weekend. Really cute, really clever from a bunch of guys, and I think that with kind of that same not retrospective, that's on that same sort of topic. What did we see out of the two guys on Philadelphia that have kind of been linked to the Winnipeg Jets? It was Scott Lawton and Rasmus Ristolainen. When I saw Scott Lawton out there, it really seemed like they were trying to show that he's a second line center, or that he's kind of more than he is. They were playing him with, sorry, throat's a little dry. They were playing him with, was it Konechny and Kuzmenko? It was. And I think they're just trying to show they can play with skill guys, so that when they're kind of sending off offers to the Toronto Maple Leafs, to the Winnipeg Jets, they can kind of upsell him a little bit. They can show, oh, look how well he plays with our skilled guys. He can play so well with your skilled guys. And what I saw out of him, he seemed like a very simple player, really grindy player, physical, decent. And I really liked his effectiveness on the forecheck. I thought he's effective in that way, just kind of pushing guys along the wall, disrupting battles down low. And I think if you're getting Scott Lawton, he seems like a very bottom six center. And I just wish, if that's who the Winnipeg Jets are targeting, I've been saying this on and on and on and on again. I just hope that the Winnipeg Jets I just wish they used Adam Lowry higher in the lineup, because if one of those two is going to be a second line center, I trust Adam Lowry more to do that role. Maybe not to get the points, maybe not to do the offense, but to help the other people on that line get the points by just kind of pushing the play up, getting them down the ice, and kind of causing havoc around the net. And I just wish that they used that experiment kind of longer, especially in the past couple weeks since the Four Nation face-off. And then there's Rasmus Ristolainen. He's a defenseman who plays in the NHL. He shot a lot tonight. It seems like he was on a tryout. How many times did he shoot? How many shots did he have? He had like 6 by the second intermission. He was ripping them. I liked his physicality. I'll give him that. Like, he seems like the type of guy who, he's out there, he's doing a bunch of stuff. You know, at the end of the day, he's on the stat sheet. He is shooting the puck. But is he doing things that are effective? Is he making the best decisions? I know he's not a advanced stat guy, and I think he gets paid a little bit more than he needs to. I just don't think that player is kind of what you want. I think he looks like a more physical Colin Miller, which sounds great, but I think Colin Miller is just more of like that solid veteran. I'd rather just have Colin Miller in the lineup, even though the Winnipeg Jets don't seem to trust him. SGA Sports Talk channel says the San Jose Sharks lost against the Ottawa Senators by a final score of 5-3 and never record a 15 wins. And have a record of 15 wins, 37 losses, 9 losses in overtime, and suffer their 8th loss in a row. That sucks. Yeah, because their 6th loss in a row is against the Jets. Yeah, it sucks for those guys, but Sorry to hear that, SGA Sports Talk channel. Hopefully it was an entertaining game for you. All right, yeah, so I'm not a big Rasmus Ristolainen guy. And then let's kind of finish this off with a, you know what, I forgot to drop it in here. Let's do that real quick. I want to talk about the Seth Jones trade. And I think it's important to talk about the Seth Jones trade just because, you know, that's in the Jets division. That is someone who is stalling for time. That's someone who's kind of a complexing player. And it does kind of, because the Chicago Blackhawks got futures for him, I think it's a relevant topic for the Winnipeg Jets in the current and down the road. So let's kind of get it in the stream here. I'm going to pull up a graphic. This is a tweet from the Chicago Blackhawks official account. Here it is. Let's put it on this side. Look at that. Oh, it kind of fills out the frame. Okay. So the Chicago Blackhawks traded Seth Jones and a 4th round pick to the Florida Panthers in exchange for their younger goalie Spencer Knight and a 2026 first round pick, which I believe can transfer to a 2027 first round pick if the Florida Panthers trade theirs. But first, let's hear what SGA Sports Talk channel has to say. He says, San Jose Sharks are having a disappointing start to the 2025 season and aren't making it to the Stanley Cup playoffs based on the record. Yeah, I think that's fair to say. And yeah, so just with the Seth Jones trade, you look at this on the surface, and I feel like it's pretty fair value. Spencer Knight is he was very highly touted when he was a prospect, and I know he had some trouble. Let's look up his stats. And I know he doesn't he have a big ticket too? Spencer Knight, let's go to Puckpedia. Yeah, he's making $4.5 million this year and next year before becoming an RFA at the age of 25, which is still pretty young for a goalie. How's he doing this season on the Florida Panthers? He has a 907. He started 27 games. He's 12-8-1. Seems all right. And I just think almost like you look at what the Florida Panthers, what the Chicago Blackhawks kind of need. We know what the Florida Panthers are getting. They're getting a pretty good defenseman. Maybe not what his reputation once was in terms of value, but I think that Seth Jones is a pretty valuable guy, and they're getting him at $7 million. I think that's fine. I think that's pretty good. I think he just has some deficiencies, and that's okay at that price point, especially as the cap goes up over the next 5 years. But I think for Chicago, you look at them, and it's almost like their whole objective right now should be to get Connor Bedard in a happy place, and in a place where he can develop, in a place where he can kind of grow. And it seems like with this move, are the Chicago Blackhawks better because of this move? Absolutely not. I don't think that getting Spencer Knight kind of changes the trajectory of their season or their next season. With the kind of salary cap in, they're only freeing up about $2.5 million of cap space. Does that help you get a player to help Connor Bedard? That's not quite enough in my book. The salary cap rating might help you, but I think with the young player who's struggling with no one around him, like, and I know Seth Jones asked for this trade. He seems like he wasn't doing the best job in the locker room as well, just kind of wanting to be traded. But in terms of like developing this player in Connor Bedard, they're not surrounding him with guys that he needs to. They tried to get a bunch of kind of mid veterans in the free agency last year, which didn't really work. And with this trade, they're getting Spencer Knight, but isn't Soderblom like a pretty highly touted goaltending prospect? Like, is that something we're missing here, where he is now they just have two guys and no one who can play on the wing of and anyone who can like play on the wing of Connor Bedard for the next season, right? Taylor says. Oh yeah, we'll get to Taylor's question just after this kind of a little bit here, and yeah, and I just think that really doesn't help the Chicago Blackhawks in their short-term or long-term plans. That pick, what's a Florida Panthers pick going to be in 2026 or 2027? Not very good, and I just think that retaining the salary from between this trade and the Taylor Hall trade, where they're just retaining money for really no reason and losing Taylor Hall, it just seems like we're going to collect all these trades that they're doing at this deadline, and it seems like they're just going to lose a lot of steam from their current rebuild without getting better currently or really in the future. Because like they have to start getting better, not getting better, but just getting to a place where they're playing well, so Connor Bedard can kind of develop, feel better. Like it seems like he's carrying so much weight and not kind of getting the results he needs to like kind of grow here. All right, SGA Sports Talk said, I'm a big fan of your content and all your videos, and doing a great job covering the Winnipeg Jets. Thank you. Appreciate it, and appreciate your comments as well. Taylor says, what do you think about the whistle at Connor Hellebuyck's pass in the third period? Okay, I meant to bring this up. I had this written down somewhere. Thanks for commenting, Taylor. Isn't it weird how there's so many rules in the NHL, okay? There's so many rules that are written kind of, if there's black and there's white, and there's also some kind of gray ones. And this one, okay, what they're saying on the broadcast is you can't pass the puck forward, so you can drop it. I don't want to drop it in front of the mic. You can drop it, but you can't like project it forward. And it's like, when has that ever been a rule in the NHL? And it just feels like, it reminds me of, and I'm not someone who thinks that the refs are biased. I just think they're honestly bad at their jobs, or it's just such a hard job that like you're gonna miss some things. But you look at or does anyone remember? And maybe I just have a certain memory for this type of stuff. The overtime game against Anaheim this year, where stuff happens. The Winnipeg Jets kick a post, or no, it was John Gibson kicks a post off. Okay, happens once. Okay, whatever. Happens a second time when the Winnipeg Jets have sustained pressure. In the rulebook, a penalty. In this case, they don't call it. Okay. Why are we calling this? People have definitely seen it before. What's the difference between a pass or like what? Like, have you ever held a goalie glove before? If you're trying to like flick it out, you don't want to like just try and drop it. It might come back at you. You're flicking it out. I think it's just ridiculous. I think it's just ridiculous in terms of like how they called that, and it perplexed me. I don't know. SGA Sports Talk said the Sharks acquired Pavel Regenda from the Ducks for Justin Bailey. It's one of the trades of all time. I feel like Justin Bailey's played for everybody. All right, let's get into the final segment of the day, where you guys can ask me any sort of questions you like. This is on a little bit of a delay, so I'm going to kind of go into the ad read. You guys can type away your questions. If there's no questions, we'll wrap up the show and be on our merry way. So make sure that you are just typing away your questions right now. You can think about hockey, the Jets trade deadline, about the game, anything you'd like, and I'm going to tell you about our fantastic merch, especially the mugs. Love the mugs. Big mug guy. What better way to support something you love than by repping it on yourself? Game Over Apparel's line has dropped with 3 unique lines. Whether you feel the nostalgic pull of our retro skater design, want to make a statement with our established design, or you want to wear your love for goalies proudly with our live and die by the goalie design, or if you just need another coffee and a toque to get you through the winter, we have you covered. Designed by Brady Childs from Game Over Winnipeg. Use the QR code on stream now and take a look through our apparel store and help us rebuild local sports media in Canada while repping your community. Like always, I think I'm just going to give the mugs on here. The mugs are my favorite part. I'll kind of remove the hoodies. Hoodies are nice too. I have one of those as well. And we'll see if any questions come in. The next time the Jets play the Flyers, it's going to be on Thursday, which is going to be fun. Lots of physicality, lots of physical storylines in this game to kind of watch over. The next Winnipeg Jets game, though, is against the Islanders. The Jets are going on the road, and they're playing the Islanders at 6:30 on Tuesday night. Our show will be at about 9:15 as a result of that. So make sure you check out our show, 9:15 on Tuesday. If you're looking for any Winnipeg Jets trades, my theory is that they're going to use tomorrow because they have the next 2 days off, and then they don't have a 2-day break until the trade deadline. So I think they're going to use tomorrow as kind of a round up the scouts period, and then they're going to make a plan, try to execute on the plan, abandon the plan, make a new plan. And yeah, but so I wouldn't expect any trades till Monday. But that's just my theory. I'm not in the room. I don't have a job there. All right, and it seems like we are done here tonight. So thank you so much for watching. Always appreciate it. Make sure you hit like if you like this video. Make sure you subscribe if you want to see more of this. It's a really free and easy way to support the channel. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Brendan Labarre, and I will see you guys on Tuesday. Where's the button? There it is. See ya.